we are going to cover the keys for short stack play. After the early game is done, most of the minions and NPCs have been busted, but the blinds are going up and you are going to be getting shallower and shallower. So it's important to be prepared for that situation. So I grabbed some charts from pokercoaching.com, which you can join for free. I'll put a link in the video description. And this is some short stack play for 10 big blinds. So all tournaments in Heroes of Hold'em are six-handed. So what I did first on the left was I grabbed the opening range for first position at a six-handed table. And then for the image on the right, I grabbed the opening range for the button on a six-handed table. The red hands are the hands that are profitable to play. The grayed out hands are the ones that are unprofitable to play and should be folded. You'll notice that the chart on the left has a few less hands in red than the chart on the right. That's because when we're in early position and we have more players left to act behind us who could wake up with a hand, we want to play fewer hands. We want to play better hands that are more likely to be the best hand. And as we get in later position and there are fewer players left who can wake up with a hand, we can raise a wider range of hands. So the playable hands across the board are the suited aces, the pocket pairs, the suited nines, the strong offsuit broadways, so queen jack, king queen, and strong offsuit aces, ace seven and better. If we're on the button, we can play all aces, all pairs, all offsuit cards 10 and better, maybe even 9 and better, and any suited ace, suited king, and suited seven. So you can imagine that if you're in between early and late position, maybe you play suited eights and the offsuit tens, but not the offsuit nines. You just kind of widen your range a little bit. These charts, if it's dark red, it means you should go all in with them. And if it's light pink, it means you should min raise them. But in Heroes of Hold'em, it's going to be more specific, situational specific than that. Sometimes you're just going to want to push, go all in, and have the best chance to have everyone fold. Generally, the shallower you get, the fewer blinds you have, the more you want to do that, because picking up the blinds and antes is worth a lot more to you. And in the cases where you have like a really good hand, like aces or kings or queens, or you have some really good spells you can use post-flop where you don't really want your opponents to fold, you want to get some action, then you may go with a minimum raise. So I look at these charts in terms of what hands I can profitably play, but I don't rely on them in terms of how to play the hand, whether I should min raise or whether I should go all in. I use my intuition a bit more to determine how I should go about that. One final note on these charts is it's totally fine to play a little bit tighter than these charts suggest. There's nothing wrong with folding the suited nines or the small pairs or the ace five through ace two suited from early position if you want to play a little bit more snug and only get it in with stronger hands. I would not advocate playing looser than these charts suggest, though, unless it's the bubble and you have a really favorable situation going on. So you can take a screenshot, you can pause the video, you can write the notes down. These are very useful things to have for your short stack play. And we're going to go from this section, which is what to do when it's folded to you, to what to do when it's raised ahead of you. So next up, we have short stack play with 10 big blinds versus a raise. These are the charts for playing from the big blind. And on the left, we have what to do versus a minimum raise. And on the right, we have what to do versus an all in. Green means call, blue means fold, red means raise all in. So you can see that we're generally re-raising all in with our best hands. The ones on the bottom, the fives, the fours, the ace five to ace two, ace four, these are like to quote unquote balance your range, which is a concept we don't really need to use. There's nothing wrong with just folding these weaker hands and sticking to the red hands that are on the kind of top left portion of the grid. In terms of calling, we'll see it actually is quite a wide range. You know, anything suited, any two cards above an eight, pretty much anything connected, any ace. And the reason for this is because when we're facing a minimum raise and we're in the big blind, we're getting a very good price. We only have to put in one more big blind to play for a pot of 4 or 5 big blinds, depending on the antes. So when we're getting those odds, we can justify calling with a wide range to try to catch a nice flop, but we do need to play very cautiously post flop. We don't just go nuts if we hit a pair after we defend with 8-4 suited or whatever. So same as the previous charts where I said, if you don't want to play the weaker hands here, you can fold a lot of the weaker hands on these charts as well, and it's not going to be a detriment to your game. If you only played, the suited 8s and the offsuit 10s and better, and ace 9 offsuit and better, and ace 6 suited and better, and some suited connectors, you'd probably be doing fine. This is just from a theory perspective, how wide you can go if you play as well as your opponent. And if you play better than them, you can go a little wider, but generally better to err on the side of caution until you really know what you're doing. Next, we have versus an all-in. And with this, we just pretty much call better hands than they jam with. So if we look at what they might jam with under the gun, we see it's suited 9s, suited aces, king, jack, queen, jack offsuit. And we look here, we call with king, queen, suited 10s, suited aces, and the better aces and better pairs. So we really just need to have better hands than they're going all in with. And this is against an optimal player. But if you have someone who's really loose, you could call a little looser. If you're playing against someone who you think is really tight, you could call a little tighter. These are just the default ranges, the shape of the ranges to give you an idea of what it looks like. But because the size of their raise matters, the position, the type of player matters, as well as how many abilities they have matter, you may play significantly tighter than this, and very occasionally you might play a little bit looser. But mostly it's these ranges or tighter, these ranges or tighter. And again, if you want even more ranges for all the different positions and all the different stack size, those are available at pokercoaching.com.